Good morning. Welcome back to Melanie Loves Death Metal. Happy Saturday. I don't usually upload on Saturday, but I have not been home all week to allow myself to record anything, so I finally have the house to myself right now for a couple of hours, and I figured let's get a video up. We've been, it's Thanksgiving this week. It's just been absolutely fucking crazy. So obviously this year I'm thankful for death metal, and then all the the sappy shit of you guys supporting me this year. This year has actually been probably one of the more like successful years on YouTube for me. I've grown a lot faster than I really thought I was going to, so I'm super thankful for that. So thank you for all the support and continuing to watch my videos and share them. Lately there's been a couple of people like tagging me and stuff saying like they bought something because they watched my video, and that makes me happy. Like that is the ultimate goal here. I love when people do that. So if you ever get something after watching my video, tag me. If you post it on Instagram, tag me, let me know, or let me know in the comments. Because that's what I like to see. I like to see that you're taking my recommendations and you're liking the stuff that I'm showing. And it helps, it makes me feel good. I like to feel good. So happy Thanksgiving if you were in the US. And then yesterday was Black Friday, which shouldn't be a holiday, but it's treated like one, which is just fucking ridiculous. And so yeah, I am coming over a cold too, so I've been sick. So apologies if I'm like hacking on this, but I have several records. Some of them I've had for a little while now. One of them actually I've had for a year. I've never shown off on here, and it popped up in my Instagram stories that it's getting a repress, and I was like, oh, I actually have never shown that off on here. So this is not the reissue. This is one I've had for a little over a year now. So let's get started with that. So last year, a lot of people messaged me after my year-end list and were like, why wasn't this band on your year-end list? And I always like preface my videos of like, I know I'm going to forget stuff, throw it in the comments so I can check it out later. And that's exactly what I did for this band, and that is Claustrum. This is their self-titled album that came out last year. I think it was around March, maybe, when it came out. And I just completely evaded me. I never listened to it. And I wish I had, because this is a phenomenal album. And I bought this sometime in late December. I think probably like the final week of December or something. I saw it available still after many people told me to check it out. I listened to it and I bought it, and I just never showed it off on here. I just got lost in the mix. Well, I pulled it out this week, and I've been listening to it a couple of times already. And like I said, it's getting a reissue right now, so the first presses were sold out. The band is out of Italy. This is their first ever full length, and they had a demo out last year as well. So awesome artwork. I can't remember who did the artwork, so just give me a minute here. This is really good, like dark, suffocating, dissonant style of death metal. A little bit of swampiness to it as well. It's a phenomenal album. If I had listened to this last year, if I really taken the time to sit with it, this definitely would have been high up on my year-end list. So it comes with a printed inner sleeve where the vinyl can be housed, but obviously that's not what I'm doing. Some more artwork, lyrics, picture of the band. The artwork is done by Dartworks. I'm not too sure who that is. I always say I'm not too sure who that is, and then I go look at their like social media post, and I'm like, oh, he's done album art for several other albums that I never realized, and then I always like feel kind of bad about it. So this is on Unorthodox Emanations, which is a like subdivision of Avant Garde. It's kind of like their death metal label. So this is put out by Avant Garde, but it's under the different label name. And then it is this color, which goes really nicely with the album art. And like I said, this is getting a reissue. I saw that it was up, or was announced that they were reissuing it, and that's what led me to want to listen to it. So check this out. I'll link in the description where you can obviously check it out on Bandcamp for the pre-orders and stuff. I don't mind ordering from Avant Garde or this label. It's the same label. Their shipping prices are relatively decent considering they're coming from across the pond, as I like to say. But they don't, for some reason, they don't overcharge too much for their shipping. And they're out of Italy, so I don't quite understand that, because other Italian labels charge astronomical prices for records. But I've ordered direct from Avant-Garde several times, like those Moonlight Sorcery albums and stuff like that, and they've only charged like $13 for shipping on one vinyl, which is really not that bad considering I mean, sometimes people in the U.S. charge that. Like, that's insane. So I don't mind ordering directly. So that's what I did. I ordered directly from them for this, over a year, almost a year ago now. So, but I'll link it in the description. I don't think anybody has this in distros and stuff. It's been an album that I have not really seen out in the wild very often, but it is a very good album. And like I said, I wish I had kind of checked it out last year. I don't know how it skated under my radar. I mean, there was a lot that comes out. Paulo, the bassist, is from Feral Forms, if you're familiar, and then I think that's it. That's the only band member that I recognize. So there you go, Claustrum. The next is another reissue that got put out this year that was definitely needed. We needed this reissue to be done. I personally didn't need it because I had the original vinyl for this, but then I sold it at the beginning of the year, as you guys know. And held on to the CD. I was fine with the CD. And then I saw Profound Lore was putting it out again. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to grab it on vinyl because I fucking love this album. This is Warp Chamber, Implements of Excruciation. I can't say it. I can't. I'm not going to try. Just, you can look it up. This is a 2020, I feel like a cult following at this point. People are like, or just dying for this vinyl to be reissued. You would look for it on Discogs, and it would be like $100. It was super limited back then. This is a band out of the U.S. Their only full-length album. They do have a demo that came out in 2018. Simply just crushing, like, very unique vocal style. You definitely don't want to listen to this with people in the room if they're not familiar with death metal. That's for sure. This is not a gateway album by any means. This is definitely just a mind-bending, crushingly awesome album. It's so good. So again, my throat. Am I gonna lose my voice now? I've been losing my voice, so apologies on that. Some more artwork. Just fucking devastatingly crushing album. It kind of teeters on a little bit of a slam vibe here and there, but definitely is not. It's just, yeah, I mean, it's a really, really just heavy album. So Profound Lore has reissued these. I've talked about this on here. I showed off my other record. This is not the first time. I think this is like maybe the third or fourth time I've talked about this band on here. This is just called Galaxy for the vinyl pressing. I'm pretty sure these are still available. They haven't sold out. I think they pressed enough now to go around to everyone. So, yeah, Warp Chamber. Definitely need another album from them. It's been 5 years, just about. So, I'm not too sure if they're working on anything else. I don't know. I haven't looked. I haven't seen anything. They're a relatively like anonymous band too. Like they don't have any of the members listed on Metal Archives or anything like that. So, yeah, Warp Chamber. Next up is a new release that I was gonna dedicate a whole video to, but I decided, I don't need to. I mean, I don't need to. I just, I threw it in here. I still might do a whole dedicated video to it, but Molder's new album, Catastrophic Reconfiguration on Prosthetic Records. This is their, what is this again? Their fourth album? Third album. Third album. This comes on the heels of Engrossed in Decay in 2022, which I absolutely love that album. I still listen to it quite frequently. And it's a fucking phenomenal album. And this one is no different. Amazing, straightforward, riffage, well-written death metal. This is one of the best death metal bands in the scene right now. In my honest opinion, they're out of Illinois. And yeah, just amazing artwork. I'll get the artist there. We got the boys right there. A printed inner sheet. Let's see here. I forgot who did the artwork. It was Julian Felipe Mora Ibanez. I probably butchered that name. I'm so sorry. But just awesome artwork. And then I got the green vinyl. So I thought it went well with the album cover. I'm pretty sure they came out with a couple of other color variants, but there you go. Listen to this album. This is going to be very high on my year-end list. Like I said, it's just really well written. You're straightforward death metal. It's got that underground or that old school death metal vibe for sure, but they do it in such a perfect way. It's not just like overly done or anything like that. It's definitely a little bit more riffs on here, just a little bit more different style of guitaring. A little bit different sound on this one than their last one. The last one was still pretty not like muddy, but still had like that really like way underground old school death metal sound to it. This one still definitely has that, but it's a little bit different, like a little bit more of a progression in their songwriting with like strong, like definitely stronger guitars for sure. And it's very catchy. It's a very good album. I love this album. I've been listening to this a ton. This stayed in my listening bin right there because I've been listening to it, and just there's no point in putting it back on the shelf. That's for sure because I keep on taking it out. So, all right, the next one is another reissue of an underground cult classic. That's for sure. This is I got this off at NWN. They were having a sale. They still are having a sale, but I got it because it was a couple bucks cheaper. This is a reissue done by Huang Quan, I think is how you say their name, out in China. Horror of Horrors, Sounds of Eerie. This is their first full length from 1994. So this is like a 90s old school death metal classic gem that got reissued. And I saw it circulating, and I was going to get it directly from Huang Quan. Because their shipping is actually not too horrible either. And finally, I saw the NWN got it, so I snagged it through there. So yeah, just I always say this whenever something like this gets reissued. This is definitely mandatory if you're an old school '90s death metal fanatic like I am, and you try to seek out these old school releases that you necessarily didn't have access to, at the young age that you started. This stuff is just so good. It's so just, it's got that sound. Awesome poster that comes with it as well. I really like Huang Quan. I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. I really like their quality of pressings that they do with their vinyls. I've got several of their releases now, and this one is no different. Sounds phenomenal. The album is just splattered out. This side's awesome. And it sounds awesome. These are sold out. They're not on NWN anymore. I know Hell's Headbangers got them in at one point. Several other distros did, but man, they sell out super fast. So, one other tidbit about this: it's a U.S. death metal band. They do have 3 other full lengths out after this. They pretty much broke up in 2017. Their follow up Things Breaking the Skin is pretty good, and I'm not too familiar with their other albums. They also have a member of somebody who's from Cattle Decapitation. What's the other band? Somebody from Possessed. There was one other band. Belial? Was that the band that they were from back in the 90s? I can't remember. I don't have it in my notes, and I don't feel like looking into it. But anyway, Horror of Horrors. Again, just I love that these old school death metal gems are getting the reissue treatment, because from people like me who weren't collecting back then, who were like 5, right? I was 9 when this came out, weren't in the scene to do the tape trading stuff. So yeah, good stuff. This is, just like I said, absolutely mandatory if you're a 90s death metal fanatic like I am. Woo! I am struggling. My voice feels like it's fading any second now. Please hold. I need to text back. I got a text from somebody saying they can't find my house because they're doing a grocery delivery. Imagine that. All right. Well, I told them how to get to my house, and we'll see. It's not easy to find where I live. It's all confusing and shit. So anyway, the next one is another new release from this year. Got a couple of them in this stack. This absolutely needs no introduction, and you should probably know this band. One of my favorite death metal bands for sure. Defeated Sanity, with their newest full length. They just came out like a week ago. Hasn't been out that long. Chronicles of Lunacy. Actually, has it been a week? Yeah, I think it has. Or did it actually come out this past Friday? I don't remember. I've had this for a little while. Season Miss sent it to me. So and I've had the promo. So I forget, like, yeah, November 22nd. So yeah, it's been a week. So yeah, This is their, how many albums do they have out now? Technical brutal death metal band. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven full length album. I have all of their other stuff on tape or CD. This is admittedly, I sold off my other vinyl. I did have everything on vinyl, but I went for the vinyl this time around, and yeah, Defeated Sanity, technical brutal death metal band. I feel like they're highly underrated. They're from Germany. Everything they put out just is phenomenal. Very much mind bending. Very much can noodle soup you in terms of your brain when you're listening to this. But just they're so goddamn talented, man. Just in like the structuring of their music and the compositions that they write, just everything like that is so good. It's not like the meat and potatoes, like just one chug. They're just out there. Like they're in a league of their own right now, and this album is no different than their past. I I still haven't fully digested this yet. I've listened to it like 3 or 4 times since I've gotten the record. I listened to promo a couple of times, and there are just still things about it that I still haven't fully digressed or digested yet. But it is a phenomenal album, and I've been listening to this a ton. Technical death metal can be a bit much when it gets super noodly. This isn't like obscure or Gorguts noodly. That's not for sure, but definitely has its moments where you're like, oh my god, what? Like, they're just going for it. Like they're just the it's just yeah, they're phenomenal musicians. Like it's just a really good album. I don't know what this variant was. I can't remember. But there you go. It goes really well with the album art. So yeah, Defeated Sanity. They're so underrated. I absolutely love Prelude to Tragedy. That's like my favorite album by them. That's their first album. Psalms of Moribund is the other one that I absolutely love. Actually, I just love all their albums. Their last album that came out, the Sanguinary Impetus, I think is how you say it, back in 2020, so it's been quite a few years since they put out. Like that just, I was such a huge fan of that album too. Like just they don't have a single bad album in their discography. Passages into Deformity is also phenomenal. I love their like proggy album that they put out, Dharmata, I can't say it. I'm a huge fan of that. So just anything these guys do, they're just so good. This is limited to 150 copies worldwide. Transparent, lime, white, and black marble vinyl. All right. So awesome album. Just this is definitely going to be high up on my year in list too. I've been super pumped for this ever since it was announced. One of my more highly anticipated albums. But again, Defeated Sanity, I've talked about them so many times on here. I showed off the tape box set that I have of all of their albums, and it's just simply, they're so goddamn good. If you're a fan of brutal death metal and you don't mind that technical stuff added to it, you're going to really, really enjoy this album. So, and then finally, the last thing I want to show off is another new release that came out this Friday, actually. So it's only been out for a couple days, but I got it super early. Thank you, $20 Spin, for sending it to me super early, but also I had the promo, and this is the new Bedsore album, Dreaming the Strife for Love, their second full-length album, another band out of Italy, and this is a progressive death metal band. However, this album is very proggy. It is simply phenomenal. I consider it to be a masterpiece, but if you are a death metal fan and you don't like prog at all, this is not for you. I wouldn't even bother listening to this album. I mean, actually, that's not true. Give it a try, because you never know. You might actually like it. But this is super proggy, and just wait till you see the promo shot of the band. I love this artwork. It's so there's such a simplicity to it, but it definitely just, it really tells the story of what you're listening to. This is a very cathartic feeling album for me. It definitely has a little bit more of that melancholiness to it, but it is simply stunning in terms of progressive death metal, or just progressive metal as a whole. There's not a whole lot. There's death metal on this, but I feel like the prog definitely takes over a lot more. I really like this jacket. It feels like kind of like an oil painting, a little bit different style than what $20 Spin normally puts out. A printed inner sheet, and here is that 70s vibe of prog that you're expecting on this album. So again, if you're not a fan of this, this is not for everybody. And I totally get that. So I know I'm going to get a lot of comments of like, yeah, I tried it, I couldn't do it. And then I'm going to get some comments that are going to surprise me, be like, oh, I really, really liked that album. It's different. This is refreshingly different. It's completely different than what I would normally listen to. This is not in the vein of Blood Incantation prog. This is like straight up 70s prog infused with some death metal. So if you're a 70s prog fan, you'll enjoy this. It's got a very unique style of vocals. It is way different than their last album, Hypo. I can't say it. Their first album that came out on 20 Bucks Spin as well. That was progressive death metal. That was very progressive death metal. This one definitely teeters way more into the prog element of it. So yeah, it's phenomenal. I mean, we've got 12-string guitars, we've got organs and keyboards and fretless bass and synthesizers. Like you got the whole shebang here for that prog. The album artwork is a painting that was done by somebody whose name I cannot pronounce. So I will pause it and you can just read there, or you can look it up online. So phenomenal. This one blew me away. I wasn't expecting it. I heard the promo. I didn't think much of it, and then, come on, voice, you can do it. I'm almost done. And then now that I have the record, I've been spinning it for the last week and a half now. I had it for almost 2 weeks before the album came out. Just phenomenal. I actually really like this album color, this vinyl color too. It goes really well. I'm not a huge fan of brown vinyl, but the brown and the orange and the white mix looks really, really good together. It's almost like a red too. So yeah. Bedsore. Italy, second full length. They also came out with a split in 2022. Who was it with? It was with Mortal Incarnation. That was a good split. I liked it. So yeah, phenomenal band. Super talented musicians. Man. Yeah, I mean, again, this is not like Blood Incantation. This is not like Tomb Mold. This is very much a very unique style. A progressive death metal album. They have their own sound. Talk about a band that really is paving the way in terms of a different style. Somebody mentioned when I posted this on Instagram a band that was similar from way back in the day that really nobody paid attention to because it was so different, and I can't remember who it was now, but I need to go check them out. So yeah, Bedsore. That's it. That's my I'm thankful for death metal episode. I hope everybody had a great holiday in the U.S. If you didn't celebrate Thanksgiving, just hope you're having a great week. And that's it. I will see you guys in the next one.